Today's video is part of a series of videos where I create all of the different chart types in Excel. In today's video, we're going to be creating the surface chart. So I'm just going to go through them and then you see the different types of surface charts we created. So we have the 3D, we have the 3D wireframe, the contour, and the contour wireframe. So we're just going to do that for different data sets in this particular workbook. And yeah, we have this final one, and then this one, which is just a top-down version, and then the wireframe of the top-down version. Anyway, let's get started. So I have my dataset open. You can go ahead and download the dataset in the description box below. There's not much we need to do. The dataset is already there. All we need to do is just select our range of data and then insert our surface chart. So how surface chart works, to the best of how I understand it, is that it tends to look at zones where you're essentially looking at something similar to a map. If you've seen weather maps before, where you're looking at cold zones, hot zones, where there are highs, lows, moderate temperatures, things like that, that's how a surface chart works. So it just looks like maybe even elevation and valleys and things like that. So I'm just going to select my data first so you can just show you. I'm going to insert recommended charts, and I'm going to go to all charts, and we are going to use a surface chart. So we're going to work on all of these types of surface charts. So let's do 3D surface first. For this one, I'm going to click on OK, and this is the first one we have. Let me increase it just a little bit. So we have a 3D version, that's sort of like a 3D landscape of our chart, and we can see based on this is minus 4,000 to minus 2,000. So this is a very low zone essentially. So this section here will be the very low zone. We have minus 2,000 to 0, that's this orange section, 0 to 2,000, the greens, then this light blue, and then our peak is this purple color, and that's essentially it. So let's move on to the next one. I'm just going to create different versions, both with the 3D and then the contour line, just the lines, and then we'll just move on from that. I'm going to select this is the same data set. I'm just going to select my entire data set, select the first cell like this, Control Shift left key down key, and I'm going to insert recommended charts. Let's go to all charts, surface, and this time we're going to use the wireframe, so we just see just the lines, and yeah, it's the same things. So once again, you have your range of values here for your legend, or it's the legend there, so you can look at your range of values based on what you have here. Let's move on to the next one. You can try creating it yourself. It's still the same process, but I'm using different data sets for different ones, but you can try creating it yourself. Let's move on to the third one. I'm going to select this, Control Shift left and down key, insert recommended charts. We're going to go to all charts, surface. I'm going to use this one, the contour, and we're going to click on OK. And this one more like is a top-down version of our charts. So once again, you can see your zones or your ranges based on what you have here. So this area is the highest. We have, let me see, this blue is around this, so I think the greatest we have this green section, which is 0 to 2,000. So anyway, that's it for the contour for this one. We're still going to use the same data set to just create the wireframe of the surface chart. So I'm going to go to the next one and select my data set, insert recommended charts, all charts, and surface. We're going to create the wireframe, and there we go, exactly the same thing. Oops, this time it's just the wireframe. Let's move on to the next one, which is label profit surface. I'm going to select my entire data set, select the first cell, A1, Control Shift left and down. I'm going to go to insert recommended charts. Let's select all charts. I'm going to go to surface, and we are going to use the 3D surface for this first one. I'm going to click on OK, and now we have a much more complicated looking surface chart. So once again, we have our legend so that we can see our zones. So even just looking at it, we can see that 0 to 5,000, we have 5,000 to 10,000 here. The green zone is 10,000 to 15,000, and then the peak or the top is 15,000 to 20,000. Let's move on to the next one. Once again, try making it yourself. It's pretty straightforward. Just select your entire data. Insert, recommended charts, all charts. Let's go to Surface. This time we're just going to create the wireframe so that we can see it. And there we go. Once again, like I said, it looks like a map. So this actually looks like, a mountain ridge or something like that. I'm going to go to the next one. Control Shift left and down. Insert. Let's use recommended charts, all charts. I'm going to use Surface, and I'm going to select, let's see, let's use this one, contour. I'm going to select this, and there we go. We have another one where the zones are more, this is a top down, will I say a top down version. So that other one, we're sort of looking at it from like an angle. This we're more sort of looking at it from the top. Let's move on to the next one, and we're just going to insert and create all of our different surface charts with different design. So I'm going to insert, we're going to create the wireframe version. Let me select my text. I haven't set, not my text, my data. Insert, recommended charts, all charts, surface, and I'm going to select wireframe, contour, and there we go. This is what we have. So for the 3D version, let me go back. You see this one, there might be sections you might not be able to see, but with this one you can actually tell that there are some blue zones here. So there's some also blue zones here, and then there's this green one here, and then it's not just perfectly, it's not perfect slices essentially. So this top down version allows you to see more details of your data. We're going to move on to the next one. So once again, I'll just select my entire data, and I'll insert, recommended charts, surface, and I'm going to select this one. So click on OK, and we have this one. This one has less divots and valleys and so on and so forth. It's just a much smoother version of what we have. And as you can see, you can also see the range of values and what they represent. So just using the legend, you can tell what zones or what ranges each color represents in your data. Let's move on to create the next one. I'm going to select my entire data set, insert, recommended charts, and I'm going to go over to surface. We are going to use a wireframe this time, wireframe 3D surface, and there we go. This is just a wireframe of the previous one. So let's move on to the third one. I'm going to select all of my data, insert, recommended charts, all charts, surface. We're going to use a contour this time. So once again, it was pretty easy to see even at an angle, but all our zones are more uniform compared to the previous one. So once again, you can see all of the zones of your data. Let's go to the final one, and I'm just going to select all of my data, insert, recommended charts, all charts, surface, and then I'm going to select this, and there we go. This is just a wireframe of our previous charts. Anyway, that is it for this one. If you want to watch the other videos on this series where I create all of the different chart types in Excel, you can either click on the description box below to see the link to the course playlist or the individual videos, or you could click on the playlist on screen right now. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.